All right, today we're going to look at the elementary schools in Amwell Township. From what I found, we have had 16 one-room schoolhouses in Amwell. 14 of them are marked on this 1903 map with a blue dot. I added red text to show the names of them, and I circled them to make them easier to see. There are two that were not marked on this map that I know of, and that is the Ridge School on Ridge Church Road, right across from the North 10 Mile Church, and the Montgomery School, which there is nothing left of it. It was on a road that was taken out when they put the interstate through. We're starting off with the Amity School. First Amity School was a log school built in 1871 when the village had a population of 137. The second Amity School was a frame building built by James Montgomery in 1863 and stood on the hill above Amity on the William Mounts farm. The map to the left is from 1861. I believe that shows that second Amity School. The third Amity School was built only 4 years later in 1867 on the property now owned by the fire department. It was a frame building and had an addition added on in 1880. The building was sold and used for several purposes, including a garage, which is shown here in this picture. In 1889, the fourth Amity School was built. Grades 1 through 4 were on the first floor, and grades 5 to 8 were on the second floor and entered through a separate door on the northwest corner of the building, which you'll be able to see on the next slide. The school was closed in January of 1952 when the children were moved to the new Amity Elementary School up the road. I believe these pictures show the third and fourth Amity School. The fourth one was definitely the one to the right, but I think that the third one was the one right next to it. This picture of the fourth Amity School gives you a good view of the stairs and door that the 5th through 8th graders used to enter the second floor on that northwest corner of the building. There have been at least a couple Amity School reunions. I'm not sure which year this newspaper article is referring to, but we do have pictures from a couple reunions in our museum. The new Amity Elementary School opened to students January 4th, 1952. When it opened, grades 1 through 8 were taught here, and then the children went on to Trinity High School in Washington. In 1972, the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders moved to the new Trinity Middle School built on Scenic Drive. Sometime between 1958 and 1967, a prefab building was added to the south side to use for the kindergarten. And then in 1995, the building was closed to students and they were moved to the new Trinity South Elementary School, which combined the Amity, Lone Pine, and Laboratory grade schools into one new elementary. This is a zoomed-in version of the 1903 map showing where the Lone Pine School was. It was on Brush Run Road, almost right across from where Pump Station Road meets Brush Run. It was between Brush Run and the creek, and it was a 2-story schoolhouse. The Pleasant Valley Academy was established in Lone Pine on Brush Run Road in 1853 by the Pleasant Valley Christian Church, which is now known as the Lone Pine Christian Church. It closed in 1871, and the building was used as the public school until 1878. It was located on the hill just past where Pump Station meets Brush Run Road, and it was torn down and a modern brick house was built there. In 1874, a stock company was formed to reopen the academy. The two-story building was erected in 1878 on Brush Run Road, and the second floor was used for the academy. The first floor was used for the public school. This school closed in 1929 when children were moved to the Lone Pine Elementary School on Lone Pine Road. This is a picture of Brush Run Road showing the locations of the Lone Pine School and the Pleasant Valley Academy. Neither building is in existence anymore. The new Lone Pine School was built in 1928. The upstairs consisted of 4 classrooms, restrooms, and a principal's office. The downstairs was a furnace room and a large auditorium play area. In July of 1954, a new addition was built to include 2 more classrooms upstairs. The original basement was turned into 2 more classrooms, and then a large auditorium play area and kitchen were added to the basement of the new addition. The school cafeteria was started in the fall of 1959, serving children a hot lunch each day. The first cook was Mrs. Norma Bain, and she handed the kitchen over to Mrs. Florence Donahue, Frenchie, the following year. Mrs. Martha Bain assisted her for many years. Students were moved to the Trinity South Elementary School January 17, 1995, and this school was turned into an apartment building. Here are 2 maps showing the location of the Baker School in 1903 and 1876. You can see it was located on Smith Run Road. In 1876, it was between Daniel Baker and Lemuel Baker, which I believe is why it was called the Baker School. Like I said, the Baker School was on Smith Run Road on the Lemuel Baker farm. The bottom left photo shows what the Lemuel Baker farm looks like now. The first Baker School was also built somewhere near this one. This building was closed in 1907. The children most likely went to either Ridge School up over the hill or Pleasant Hill and 10 Mile or Lone Pine, depending on where the children lived. Would probably depend on which school they went to. This is a drawing of the Lemuel Baker farm from the Caldwell's Illustrated Atlas in 1876. The Baker School was used for a few things after it closed in 1907. It was used for storage, it was used as a barn, and eventually it was used as a house and has been added on to multiple times. And this is what it looks like today. Our next school is the Chambers School. On the 1903 map, you'll see that Chambers Road is not there yet, connecting Craft Road to South Main Street. And in the 1969 map, you'll see that the Chambers School is up Chambers Road a little bit on the right, whereas in 1903 it was right on South Main Street. Next, we're going to talk about the first Chambers School. This was the old Farley School located on Route 19, 3 miles south of Washington. It was moved up the hill to the old Hazlett Farm, about a half a mile east of the W&W Trestle across South Main Street in 1893. The name was changed to the Chambers School in honor of Judge Chambers, who on July 20th, 1893 donated the land that the building was then again moved to. It was moved intact to its present location around 1900, and it has been used as a residence since it closed in 1914 and the children were moved to the new Chambers School. This is the corner of South Main Street Extension and Chambers Hill Road. And that is the first Chambers School that has been used as a residence for the past 80 plus years. The new Chambers School was opened in 1914 on land donated by Judge Chambers and is located on Chambers Hill Road. It closed in 1951 when the children were then moved to the new Lone Pine Elementary School. This school was converted into a residence and it is still there today. And here we are back at our 1903 map and the location of the Chestnut Ridge School. It is located on Chestnut Ridge, or it was, somewhere between Shipe Run Road and Potato Run Road. I have not been able to find the exact location, and there is nothing left of this school. Although we don't have a lot of information about the Chestnut Ridge School, we do know that it was originally called the Cryle School. The Chestnut Ridge School was located on Chestnut Ridge. It was erected in 1892 by Abe McGinnis. It replaced an earlier building that was located a short distance to the west, and it was closed in 1948 when the children were moved to the Lone Pine Elementary School. The building was apparently sold for $20, and there is nothing left of it today. Our next school is the Hart School. So we come back to our maps to find the location of it. It would have been located close to where Route 19 and Lone Pine Road meet. And that area looks a lot different now because it was changed when the interstate came through. So we don't have any pictures of the Hart School when it was being used as a school, but it was located just off of Route 19 near the intersection of Lone Pine Road. The building was torn down when the interstate came through and they redid that whole area. The Hart School was said to be closed in 1922, but we have record of children being transported from the Hart School to the Reeses School in 1921. The township used this building as a voting precinct, and this photo shows it as Gary's Barbershop. From the Hart School, if you go south on Route 19 for about 2 miles, you'll come to the location of the Horn School. It was located right at the intersection of what is currently Baker Station Road and Route 19. Before they named the roads, a lot of people called that Horn Hill, but because the next road down was Horn Run Road, it would have been too confusing. So when they named the roads for 911, they named that one Baker Station Road. We don't have any pictures of the first Horn School. It was supposedly located on the left side of Baker Station Road at the intersection of Route 19 on the Ed Horn farm. It was closed in 1898. The second Horn School was located on the right side of the road and dedicated December 23rd, 1898. It was built at a cost of $1,553 on 1.5 acres leased from D.H. Lewis. This building was closed in January of 1952, and the children were moved to Amity School. This is a photo from Route 19 showing the locations of the first and second Horn School. All right, we are moving on to the Montgomery School. The Montgomery School was not marked on the 1903 map, but I did mark the approximate location from what I have learned. It is marked on the 1969 map, which shows you the current road configuration. When they put the interstate through, they moved Montgomery Run over to meet Barrett Hill so that there was only one interstate crossing instead of two. So that is approximately where the Montgomery School was located, somewhere near the intersection of Mankey and Moninger Roads, not too far from the current Amwell Township Park. The Montgomery School was located on Montgomery Run Road before the interstate came through. Montgomery Run was moved to run parallel to the interstate and intersect with Barrett Hill. This school, I believe, was very close to the intersection, which is now Mankey and Moninger Roads. According to the Amwell history books, Raymond Irie built a home on this location and used the same water for his well that was used for the school. And the property is currently owned by either a son or a grandson. All right, now we're moving on to the Pershing School. It was definitely located on Ross Road, which connects Baintown Road and Horn Run Road. I am not sure which side of the road it was located on, and it is no longer there. So the 1876 map shows it on the south side of Ross Road. The 1903 map shows it on the north side of Ross Road. The Pershing School was also known as the Condit School. It was built in 1870 on Ross Road. According to the 1876 map, that was the W.C. Condit Farm. According to the information we have, the original seats were homemade. Factory seats were purchased in 1878. The blackboards were 10-inch pine painted black. In 1904, Walter Colson presented a petition from the Pershing School asking for a new building. After much discussion, John Weaver was awarded the contract to build the new school near the old one, and John Seibert donated 1/2 acre of land for as long as the building was used for school purposes. As of 1976, the first school was used as a storage shed on the old Pershing farm. The second school was dismantled and used to build a house that Mr. and Mrs. Perry Barnhart lived in. And the next school that we're looking at is the Pleasant Hill School. As you can see here on the 1903 map, it was located on the east end of the 10 Mile Village, right on 10 Mile Road. There was an old brick school building for the Pleasant Hill School that was built sometime before 1865 and stood till 1885 when it was removed to make room for the new frame building. The new frame building was erected by Isaac Clayton for $845. This is the building that still stands today and is looking very good for its age. The Pleasant Hill School continued to operate through 1951. The students were transferred to the new Amity Elementary School in January of 1952. Chester Bailey taught here from 1946 to 1952, and then he moved with his students to the new Amity Elementary School. The picture on your right shows Chester Bailey sitting on his porch, and these are some of the last children to attend the Pleasant Hill one-room schoolhouse in the village of 10 Mile. Here you can see a more recent picture of the Pleasant Hill School after it was remodeled into a home. Alright, as we go back to our maps, we're looking at the Red School or the Red Run School, located on Red Run Road, near the intersection of Hallam Road. Located on Red Run Road near the intersection of Hallam, the first building was a brick building that stood nearby, and the brick from the old building was used to line the new frame building. The school was closed in 1938 and the children were moved to the Lone Pine Elementary School. Since the Red Run School is the only one-room schoolhouse in Amwell Township that is still standing, that is not currently being used as a residence, the Historical Society was hoping to restore it and turn it into a school and museum. Unfortunately, the person who owned the bridge that we needed to access it would not allow us to access it for that purpose. He did allow us to use his bridge long enough to replace the roof, and hopefully sometime in the future we'll be able to access it and restore it. And the next school on our list is the Reeses School. As you can see on both the 1903 and the 1876 maps, it is located at the corner of Potato Run Road and Lone Pine Road. This is the only picture we have of the first Reeses School. It was located on the left side of Potato Run Road, about a quarter mile from Lone Pine Road on the Dave Swart Farm, which is currently the Sims Farm. I don't really have a great picture of the second Reeses School. It was located at the intersection of Lone Pine Road and Potato Run Road. The school was closed in 1929 when the children moved to the new Lone Pine Elementary School just down the road. The school was converted to a home for the H.C. Sims family and is still being used as a home today. Okay, we are back to our maps for our next school. It is the Reynolds or Laycock School. I have seen it called both, which makes sense since the Reynolds farm was on one side and the Laycock farm was on the other. It was located on 10 Mile Road, not far from the intersection of Montgomery Run Road, on what has most recently been known as the Stopka Farm. Although I don't know the exact location, I have a pretty good idea of the general location. I think it was near where the house burnt down a few years back. It's a nice level spot, so that would be my best guess. But it's somewhere right there on 10 Mile Road after you cross the creek on your left. I got this picture of the Reynolds School from the Amwell Township history books. If anybody has an original of this photo, I would love to get a copy of the original to have a better picture of the school, or any other pictures of the school for that matter. But this school, like I said, was located on 10 Mile Road on the Abner Laycock farm. That farm was later owned by John Stopka. Neither house nor school is standing anymore. The school was opened in 1877, closed in 1920. It is just east of the Mariana exit of I-79 on the left side of the road, just after you cross the 10 Mile Creek. Alright, as we come back to our map for the next school, we are going to look at the Ridge School. It was not originally marked on this 1903 map, but I do know that it is located directly across from the North 10 Mile Baptist Church on Ridge Church Road. I do not have much information on the Ridge School other than the location and the fact that it closed in August of 1948. The children from this school were moved to the Lone Pine Elementary School. The Ridge School was one of the many one-room schoolhouses that was converted into a home. This one was remodeled by John and Gay Roble. You can still see where the old school bell sat, and the chimney from the wood stove is still there. The first Swart School stood on Route 19, about a tenth of a mile south of the intersection of 10 Mile Road. The building was lined with locally made bricks between the studding. I believe that is the location on the 1903 map. The second building was built around 1907 or 1908 and stood on the hill approximately 200 yards northwest of the first building. That might be what is marked on the second map, on the 1969 map. I know that the second Swart School was somewhere on the Snee farm. I have not found the exact location. This is the second Swartz School. It was built by William Blair of Waynesburg for roughly $600, which included the slate roof and the desks. The cut stone for the foundation was from a house that had stood nearby where the school was located. This building was closed in 1931 when the children were moved to the Amity School. In the 1970s, a mobile home owned by Terry Cox was located near where this school had been. All right, we are on to our last one-room schoolhouse in Amwell. It was the Van Kirk School. It was on Van Kirk Ridge Road, not too far from the intersection of McAdams Road. The first Van Kirk School was a log building used until 1908. It was replaced by this frame building that was used until 1952. In 1898, Charles Van Kirk leased the school board a half an acre of ground for school purposes for $50. According to the minutes of the school board, the school had been there without a lease, but it felt like a lease was necessary before drilling a well. Charles Van Kirk lived on the Van Kirk farm on Johnson Road, where the stone barn is, which is just over the hill from where the school is located on Van Kirk Ridge Road. As with all history, the best part is the word-of-mouth history. So the story is that the owners planned on turning the Van Kirk School into a residence, but they wanted it to have a basement. So they put the building up on cribbing and had dug out under it when a storm blew in and collapsed the school. Larry Wall built the home that is in this picture on or near the spot where the Van Kirk School stood. It's currently owned by Mike and Robin McClenathan. So by 1952, Amwell Township went from roughly 16 one-room schoolhouses to 2 elementary schools, the Lone Pine and Amity Elementary Schools. They continued to provide the education for all of our elementary-aged children through the early 1990s, when the Trinity Area School District decided to consolidate the elementary schools and went from having 9 elementary schools in their district to having 4. Trinity South was built in Amwell Township on South Main Street Extension, not far from Route 19. All of the children from Lone Pine, Amity, and Laboratory Elementary Schools moved to the new Trinity South Elementary School in January of 1995. As with all local history, I love learning new things and seeing new pictures and hearing new stories. And I would really like to encourage anybody who has any pictures of anything related to any of the schools, whether it's Lone Pine and Amity, whether it's one of the one-room schoolhouses, whether it's Trinity South, anybody who's willing to share their photos with us, we would greatly appreciate photos and stories of the schools in Amwell Township. Thanks for watching.